Janine from Shades of Lavender Farm, and today we are going to make some lavender berry pastries, and they are so good. Here is, after they come out of the oven, they are going to be absolutely amazing. So, these have mixed berries in it. You can use any kind of berry you want. I usually use berries that are kind of smaller, such as blueberries or raspberries. You'll use frozen berries, which is really nice. This is a super simple and easy thing to do, something to make that doesn't take very much time, so that's very nice. And we get to incorporate our culinary lavender in with it. So, the things you're going to need, you're going to get some super easy pie crusts that are already made. I use Pillsbury pie crust, and you can use any pre-made pie crust that you would like. You can, I think they might have some gluten-free ones out there right now, so those would be really good for people who have some gluten sensitivities. So what you'll do is you're going to take your thawed out, and I warm it on the table just for a little bit, maybe like 5-10 minutes, take it out of the fridge, let it warm up on the table just a little. It rolls out a lot easier that way. So I put this on a parchment lined pan sheet. So I'm going to roll the first one out. Then I'm going to take just a tiny bit of flour, just a little bit. I only want to dust this because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the other pie crust right on top of it. So I just put a little bit of flour on just to dust it. Not much. In fact, I'm going to brush all the extra off, dump out what I don't use, and then I'm going to get the other pie crust. This is the exact same. So luckily these pie crust companies are intelligent enough to give you 2 in the box, so you just need to buy one box that has 2 pie crusts in it. So what you're going to do is you're going to unroll the second pie crust right on top of the first one you put down, and try and get them to line up right on top of each other. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but very close. Okay, so this is going to make 4 large pastries, because you know, we all want large pastries. I take a pizza cutter and I just cut in half and then in half again. Now, over here, I have these that I made. I tried to make it to where you got 8 pastries out of this, and it was kind of a mess. I couldn't get them to close nicely because I just didn't allow myself enough room. So that's why we're going to do 4. You could try 8, but it didn't work out so good for me. So they look awesome, they taste awesome, it's just a little bit tougher to work with them. So the other thing is just kind of separate them a little bit so that they're kind of in their own space. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the top one right off, but I want to keep it with the one that's below it because it's just easier to match them back up when you're ready. All right, so we have those done. I'm going to slide that out of my way, and I'm going to grab a bowl. So what you want to do with this bowl is you're going to add some cornstarch. You're going to want to have a half of a tablespoon of cornstarch. You're going to be putting that in the bowl. Alright, then what you want to do is you're going to grab your honey. Now we have honey here on the farm. It's amazing. It's from our bees, and they're right next to our lavender fields. They're the happiest bees, I think, on the planet. And this is pure, it's just pure unfiltered honey. And it just, basically our beekeeper takes it out of the frames and centrifuges it to get the honey out, puts it into these, and that is it. There's nothing else. So sometimes you'll find that honey that doesn't have anything other than just straight up pure unadulterated honey, when it gets cooler out like it is here in Michigan, then you'll notice it crystallizes. So what I did was I popped ours in the microwave just for a few minutes. Less than that, at like maybe 30-second intervals or less, and just let it kind of melt back into what the honey should be. Okay, so I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of our honey, and I'm going to add that to the cornstarch. Oh, love honey. I hope you guys aren't getting caught in this nasty polar vortex like we are. It's terrible out right now. Accidents all over our highways. Just scary and unsafe. And hopefully spring will come someday. We'll see. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take a lemon and we are going to cut it in half. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to get the zest off from half of this lemon. So just zest the lemon. These zesters are lovely. They're so nice to have. I don't know if you have one in your kitchen, but boy, they're wonderful. And I learned a trick is if you keep it upright like this, then it all gets into here as opposed to dumping all over your plate. Which is fine if it does that too, but so then all you do is I flip it over and I tap it into my bowl. So that's the zest of half of a lemon. We're going to cut our lemon in half, and you're going to use the juice from that half of lemon. And this is our little juicer. Pretty handy to have. Alright. And you pour that juice from that half of the lemon right in with all the other stuff. Okie dokie. So now what I'm going to do is get this all nice and stirred up together. And then I'll be adding, we're going to add some vanilla. Because who doesn't want to add vanilla? So we're going to get a half of a teaspoon of vanilla. Yum. And get that all stirred in. Then we're going to add our lavender buds. Now this is our culinary lavender buds. We do sell these online. I take probably about a teaspoon, about a teaspoon of lavender, culinary lavender. Stir that in. Now what you get to do is you're going to take your frozen berries. It's better if they're frozen. The frozen berries are, it helps it stay together nicer on your pastry. So this is about, I'm going to say about 4 to 6 ounces, and I kind of eyeball this. I like lots of berries in mine. And it's kind of nice if the berries, when they're frozen, it kind of helps solidify a little bit this whole mixture. If it's too fluid, then sometimes it wants to just flow out, which is kind of what happened when I divided up the pie crust a little more than I probably should have. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our pie crust back in front of us. Bring this whole shebang back up here. And you take your berry mixture and you put it, you divide it up evenly between all of these pastries that you've cut on the bottom portion. Now when I get the mixed berries, they come with strawberries. I typically take the strawberries out because they're bigger and save those for like my smoothies in the morning or something, because the bigger berries just don't fit quite as well. Now, if you feel like you want to add more berries, go for it. If you want to add less berries, go for it. I like a lot of berries in mine. In fact, I might just throw a few extras in here. So I think I'm just going to grab me up some more berries and throw them in. Just because I want to. Now some of this is oozing out the side. You know, I mean, it's okay. Don't freak out. No big deal. It's going to ooze out when you bake it. No worries. All right. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take an egg and you're going to crack it into a bowl. Gonna whisk it up with your fork. And then what we'll do is we're gonna brush it on the edges. This will help the top and the bottom adhere better to each other. This and all the juice that seems to be running out. Part of it is because my honey, when I heated it up in the microwave, it got quite thin. If your honey is not thin like mine was, this will stick together a little bit better. You won't have as much runoff of this, of the juice. But like I said, you know, these are gonna taste amazing, even if the juice oozes out. Trust me, you're gonna like it. All right, so what you'll do is now what you're gonna do is take the top and set it on top of the berries. See, I kind of got a little crazy with the berries, so they're not smooshing down as good, but that's okay. Just kind of jiggle it. Just jiggle it. It's okay. So you take a fork. All I have is a plastic fork. I realized in my shop, I don't even have real forks right now. So take a fork, and you're just gonna go along the edge to seal it. So seal the edge of your two pastries together. They may not be even with each other, and that's, again, okay. Do the best you can to seal it though, because that will help seal everything in and it doesn't leak out as much while you're baking it. All right. So here on the lavender farm, we're hoping this polar vortex doesn't affect our lavender plants too much. We get a little bit worried about it when it gets cold and there's not a lot of snow cover on our lavender. And this year, it seems like every time we had nasty weather, there was not a lot of snow on top of our lavender plants. And that kind of insulates it, so we didn't really have that insulation. So we're really hoping that this year it's gonna be okay. And this is a concern of pretty much almost across the board lavender farmers all across the country. This isn't just typical of Michigan here right now. It's everywhere. It's kind of scary. That's farming, isn't it? So you're going to take this egg mixture and you're going to brush it across the whole thing. And you're going to try and get it across everywhere. It makes this beautiful golden brown crust. So try and get this egg mixture through here on this whole bit. Almost there. Oh, so pretty. So with the berries, again, you can use any berries, and again, you can use fresh berries. Not a problem. You just want to make sure to get them all mixed in well. All right, so now that you have this covered with the egg wash, we are going to go ahead and we're going to do a little bit of sugar on top. Now I'm going to use white sugar right now because the white sugar, it gives this beautiful crunch, and it also helps to make it kind of shiny when it comes out of the oven. So good. By the way, at this point you should have your oven, forgot to tell you that, your oven preheated to 400 degrees. And yeah, just load on the sugar, you know, seriously, it's good stuff. I mean, you've already broken your diet at this point. You might as well just go for it and just yum. So then also, I'm gonna take a little bit of our ground lavender. Now I showed you at a previous video how to grind lavender in a coffee grinder, and I'm just ever so slightly gonna sprinkle this on. You do not wanna put a lot of this on top. Trust me, if you use too much lavender in your baking, it'll taste like soap. It's not so good. A little bit of lavender is all you need. All right, so this is what you're gonna do, and then what you'll do is you'll put this in your oven at 400 degrees for approximately 20 minutes. And it's gonna ooze. Actually, let me kind of show you how it's already oozing out. Can you see it's already oozing out of what I have got going on here? And I'm not even gonna freak out about it. I did the first time I made it, and it turned out just fine, and they were awesome. All right, so now this is what they're gonna come out of the oven looking like, except for yours are gonna be bigger because these are a lot smaller. So they have this beautiful golden look to them. They're nice and crispy. And yes, they did ooze out. Looks kind of like a pizza. Yum. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make a glaze. This is the most wonderful part of this. Well, maybe not the most wonderful, but it's an amazing, amazing part of this. So what we wanna do next is we're gonna take 1 cup of powdered sugar. 1 cup of powdered sugar. Oh. Try not to break your 1 cup measuring cup. That was something. So put 1 cup of powdered sugar in your bowl. And then I'm gonna grab this ground lavender again. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put probably 1/8 of a teaspoon in here. Not too much again, we don't wanna go crazy with this. So then what we'll do is we're going to use 1 tablespoon, half and half. Again, don't even think about your diet at this point because it's blown just looking at this. Yeah, it literally, I just gained like 4 pounds just making these and I haven't even eaten one yet. So you're gonna use about a tablespoon of half and half and get that all mixed in nicely. All right. Now you're going to want to grab the other half of that lemon from earlier and you're going to squeeze the other half of that lemon. And you're going to pour that half of a lemon into here. And now your glaze is really starting to come together. I want to add about half a teaspoon of vanilla. Now I like to wait until the pastries have cooled down a little bit before putting this on. They can certainly still be warm because it will pour over nicely on them warm, but it stays as a better glaze when they've cooled down a bit. All right, so your glaze is gonna be this nice thin texture and it's gonna have those little bits of lavender in it. Oh. And you can go ahead and just drizzle that on your pastries. Now if you want to be fancy, this is thick enough that you can actually put it on and have as, you know, like a thicker glaze. But I kind of decorated these like this, and I'm not making it very pretty. You can definitely make it prettier than what I'm doing. I just want to get a good glaze on here so that I can eat it like right now. So that is how you make your berry lavender pastries, and I'm going to show you how beautiful these are. They are an amazing presentation. They're even, you know, the kids will love them, the adults will love them. This is wonderful to have friends over with some tea. So let me take a bite, because I can. Oh yeah, that's really good. This glaze will harden a bit, you know, after time. And so if you make this ahead of time and have it on a platter like this and ready for your friends, they're gonna love you for it. And the glaze will be nice, and it'll almost get a slight crunch to it. So that's good. All right, everybody, there you go. There's our lavender berry pastries for you. Tasty, tasty treat. Thanks for hanging out with us today. You can go on our shadesoflavenderfarm.com. You can buy yourself some culinary lavender to give go with this. It's kind of nice because we give you a recipe. The recipe is for honey lavender shortbread cookies. It's a simple recipe. It's something that I put on here so that people can make it with what they have in their house. And because once you get this, you know, you're like, well, what am I going to do with this? Well, this is a good recipe for you to get started. So that's a nice recipe on there. So you can get, again, shadesoflavenderfarm.com. You can also get some of our honey here at the farm. And this is, again, pretty amazing honey. It's right from our bees right here on the lavender farm. Happiest bees in the United States, I promise you. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you learned a few things, and I hope I helped you understand cooking with lavender a little more, and that it's simple, it's not hard, super easy, and super fun. Thanks for hanging out with me today, you all. Have a wonderful day. See you later. I can't find my clicker. Bye.